I want to talk to you about evil, good versus evil, and how to recognize evil when you see it, and recognize good. And the reason I want to talk about this is because I think a lot of people don't recognize evil when they see it. They call evil good and good evil. And God said, "Woe unto the man or the woman who call good evil and evil good." Everybody know by now that Michael Jackson expired, right? Yes. Who don't know about that? Well, Michael Jackson expired a couple weeks ago, I guess, or a week ago, or whatever. And they had his funeral last week. And it was at the Staples Center here in Los Angeles. And a whole lot of folks showed up, a lot of families and friends and other folks just wanted to be there. And I'm looking at this funeral. I didn't see the whole thing, but I saw a lot of it. And I realized, when the Bible said, "Let the dead bury the dead," I realized that the dead were burying the dead at that funeral. And that most of the people there, at least the ones who spoke at the funeral, were dead people burying another dead man. And I also saw evil at work at a funeral. First, I don't know why. And maybe you guys, the ladies, can help me here. I don't know where this thing come from that at a funeral you have to lie about the person. You have to literally just make up lies. Don't tell any truth about the person at all. And I've talked to a few people about it already. And they said, well, at a funeral, you're not supposed to tell any negative. You're just supposed to be all nice and kind about the person, say all nice things about the person. And I'm wondering, why do you have to be, if the person was a horrible person while living, how come all of a sudden when they're dead, you have to lie about them, right? Make up some stuff, find some stuff they did that seemed nice. And I thought to myself, this is evil to do that. I would rather hear, if the person wasn't a whatever, I would rather hear, let this person be an example of what not to be. You know, like with Michael Jackson, for an example, it would have been really great to say, look, Michael Jackson had all the money and fame that any person can possibly have around the world, can possibly get. But yet he had all kind of issues. He had issues with his spirit. He had issues with his emotions, with his body. The guy did not like himself, you know, and fame and money didn't help that at all. It didn't make him feel better. It didn't make for a better life. And so it was so bad that Michael Jackson, being a black person, even according to all the reports, went out and hired a white man and a white woman to have his kids. There's no black, nothing in his children. That's how much he hated himself. And I would say, let that be an example that fame and money is not the answer. It's not going to buy you peace. It's just something that much money can't buy peace. Because look like if you had that much money, you can pay everybody to be nice and just pretend, and that would bring peace. But even that kind of money did not bring peace for the guy. And Michael Jackson could go anywhere in the world and was recognized. And not only was he recognized, people, you know, would gather around him and give him all the glory that he needed. But yet, that didn't bring peace. And so many people work so hard to get peace. You know, they think money is the answer, association is the answer. And that one, to me, that was a perfect example and a perfect time to say, and it wasn't putting Michael down, just speaking truth about the situation, because it's the truth that set us free. It's the truth that allowed us to find the peace that we're looking for. But I didn't hear one person say that, not one. Instead, they set him up as though he was a Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., as though he was a Gandhi type of a person. They tried to make him better than the white Elvis. Everybody remember Elvis? Yeah. Okay. They tried to make him be even above Elvis. So it was like in the face of white people, now we have a black hero too. We have a black king. And the liars went up there, people like Al Sharpton, and said that Michael Jackson wasn't weird, but it was the things he had to deal with that were weird. And that was a lie. Michael Jackson was weird, and the things he had to deal with were weird. And I'm thinking, how? And then people applauded, yeah, praise the Lord, yeah, brother, you're right. And I'm thinking, this is evil at work. But some people saw it as evil. At least the white people saw it as evil. And black people saw it as good. And not all blacks, of course, but they saw it as good. And I'm thinking, now this is a good example of evil. These people have the stage to the world. And instead of being honest and putting out good that will unite, they put out more lies that divided us rather than bringing us together. And the people are blind too, that they can't really see what's going on. They can't recognize evil. And so we gotta, our theme this year is to endure. And we got a part of enduring is to really be able to recognize and see evil. You have Sheila Jackson Lee going up and saying that the Congress is debating a resolution now to make Michael Jackson, to cause him to be appreciated and celebrated every year. They want to put Michael Jackson's face on a stamp. They're taking an evil situation and creating a good situation, what looked like a good. And just think of the message that they're sending down to the next generation of people who don't know. This is evil. This is absolute evil. When you get up and lie, God forbid that you guys live longer than me, and the Bible goes to God, I have to do my funeral. If I haven't done right, don't lie about me in my death. Just tell the truth. It's not going to turn me around from hell if that's where I'm going. So you might well say, this guy, he was an awful person. Don't lie. Try to help. And it's the truth that you need to start telling. And now, some of you may disagree with me on this, and I want to hear back from you if you do. If you disagree that you should tell the truth about the person at a funeral, or should you go emotional and just lie on the person and say how wonderful they are. Another thing that spoke to my heart about what was happening, the Bible says that man's heart is wicked until death. He said that we have an evil heart, and that is so true. Every man and every woman has a wicked heart, an evil heart. And it's the hardest thing in the world to point out. It is hard to recognize, it's hard to accept, because in the fallen state, everybody wants to think that they have a good heart, that the heart is good. But our hearts are evil, our hearts are wicked. And wickedness is like taking over. It's like ruling the world right now. And it's so prevalent in America. I've never seen it so prevalent before. And I know that other generations of people probably say, well, I've never seen it too, because it seemed to be getting worse, and it seemed to be accepted. And I think because people don't recognize it, I think because of the emotion of that come with it, people don't recognize it. But this is what's going on in the world today, is that every man and every woman's heart is wicked. But they don't see their hearts as being wicked, they see it as being good. They think just because they get up and lie at a funeral, that is coming from a good heart. It is coming from a wicked heart. A lie like that is a wicked heart. That's not good. It's not, just because you could get up and say some sweet things about a dead person. It's no wonder Christ said, let the dead bury the dead. And you can make someone cry because you said a nice thing about a dead person, doesn't make you a good person. It doesn't make you a person of truth. It doesn't mean that you have told the truth. How can you say that you've been born again and accept all this stuff as good? I'm not getting it. It just doesn't compute for me. Well, it does, but it's evil. I saw evil on that stage. I've seen it before, but it was prevalent at that funeral. Everybody went up there and lied. Now, when they said, oh, he was a good musician, he made good music, he was a good entertainer, that was the truth. He had a great talent. But even his music didn't change lives. It didn't save your soul. It made you buck dance, but it didn't save your soul. Well, his music brought blacks and white together. Yes, they came together and buck danced, but as soon as the buck dance was over, they went back to their corners. That's not bringing people together. And then they say, he is the first one to break into MTV or something like that. MTV, right? He's the first black person to open it, get into MTV and open the door. I'm like, and so what does that mean? That's great. That means that he united people. I'm like, can you be any nuttier than that? Being on MTV, and MTV, if I'm wrong, someone need to correct me, doesn't it show some of the worst stuff that you don't even want your kids to see, right?
That's right.
Isn't that true about MTV?
Right.
But they are praising that as though that's good. Our words and our dancing and our singing is it's not going to change our hearts. It's not going to cause us to be born again. Do you know that? That is not good. We'll call it good evil and evil good, and everybody going amen to it. If you want me to do your funeral, if you want me to lie at your funeral, do not ask me to do it. It's best to tell the truth so that people can wake up. The truth is of God. The truth is good, and the truth is what changes your heart. It what brings you to God, not the lie. Making me feel good with a lie is not going to do anything for my soul. Nothing. It's just you just make me feel good, and that's it. And then they said Michael Jackson did this song, "We Are the World." No, is it "We Are the World"?
No, "We Are the World."
We are the children. Oh yeah, and they said that was a great song. That's why he's good. "We Are the World." They sang that song till the cows come home, right? The song wore out. They raised all the money that you could raise from it, and everybody went back to the corner. It didn't do anything for the soul. It just made you feel like we are the world. And what is that? Nothing. It's just all lies. How do we expect to have a good life with lies? And you got to wake up to that. You got to understand that your mind, your heart is wicked. Every one of us. Our hearts are wicked. And if you don't watch it, if you don't see it, you think you're giving out love and you're giving out evil. You think just because a person feels good. Michael Jackson's funeral was an example of the dead burying the dead. It was but everybody thought it was so wonderful. We now have a black hero. We now have a black Elvis Presley who is better than Elvis. That's what people are thinking. And now the father, Michael Jackson's dad, is out there saying that he suspects that Michael Jackson was murdered. Can you get more? And Michael Jackson wrote him out of the will. Now, maybe he's doing it to get on TV, to raise some money and all that. But that's evil. And no one should go along with this stuff. And they said that Michael Jackson's people who were close to him, they said that the reason he wore long sleeves all the time, because he had holes all over his body, his arms from different shots he was taking because he was addicted to drugs. Why can't they say that out loud and say, look, even though the guy was famous, had all the money, great talent, he still didn't know God. He lived off drugs. He stayed alive by popping one pill or something, or needle or something. Wouldn't that type of truth wake you up or make people think, or cause young people to realize, what am I doing? I'm trying to get what Michael has. This is why God said, don't try to be like other folks. Don't try to get what they got, because you don't know where they're getting it from or how they're getting it. But if someone had said that, young people would have paused for a moment and said, you know what, I'm trying to be like Michael. Michael wasn't happy. What am I doing wrong here? But no one would tell the truth. This is good versus evil. And we got to recognize evil. We think the truth, well, most people think, I don't think, but most people think the truth is evil and the lie is good. You lie to your friends, you lie to your family members, you lie to one another, you lie to get a date, you lie to keep the date. You lie to stay away from the date. You just lie, lie, lie.